I think I told you guys last time that I really wasn't sure what kind of emotions I was going to feel on show day, just because it was a very big moment in my life, kind of, I guess you could say, a turning point moment. And I definitely felt all the emotions on Saturday. And they were just building up all day. The mixture of excitement and sadness and nerves and overcoming and pride, just all the things kept coming up. And I had a lot of flashbacks during the week of just things that have happened in my past. And again, I told you eventually I will let you all know why this was such a big deal and just all the things that happened during the 3 years that I was off stage. But for now, just know that it was a lot. It was something I never expected I would go through, but it actually made me who I am today. It made me a better version of myself, and it made me the competitor that I always wanted to be. So, going back a little bit, I did have a lot of flashbacks of just the experiences that I lived through during those 3 years, kind of as the week progressed leading up to show day. So I just had a lot of feelings going on. Saturday, I just kind of let them build up over the day. And I remember there was one point where I went and I checked in with my coach, Brina, and just kind of had a moment with her. I needed to release and kind of cry a little bit. It wasn't a sadness cry or like a nervous cry. I think it was just the buildup of all the emotions I was feeling, and just was able to release it with her. And I felt a lot better after that. But it was also really interesting because typically my favorite part of show day is to spend all the time with all the different competitors and learn and hear their stories. Everyone is so inspiring. The stories that you guys would hear backstage, I wish you could all be there, because these women are incredible and everyone has a story. Pretty much, I don't think anyone is back there just like, oh, I just wanted to look good. Bodybuilding is so much deeper than that. And so I usually really, really think of that as a highlight, and it was. But I actually needed to spend a lot of time by myself on Saturday, on show day. And I put my headphones in and I put my worship music on, and I really just needed to spend time with myself and God, because I think I was feeling so much energy in myself. I also pick up energy of other people. So yeah, I needed my space, and I took my space when I needed it, but I also connected when I was able to as well. The thing that most of you are probably wondering was, how did I do? How did it go? What did I look like? We might have to check out my Instagram for pictures, but I'm sure we'll include some clips here too. But I placed fourth. So, got my lovely medal. I got fourth place in my height class, and I was really happy with that. I didn't have expectations for placing at this show. I honestly wanted to go based on how I felt. I wanted to present myself in my truth, presenting just who I was, Jenna, without the masks, without the struggles and everything that I had lived through. I just wanted to be me. And I achieved that day. I felt so good on stage. I absolutely loved my hair, my makeup, my suit. Tan was a little but I'm picky about that. And my posing, I was really, really happy with it. I felt amazing on stage. I, yeah, I don't have words for it. It just felt so good to be back on stage, and yeah, it was really exciting. I think looking back at pictures and videos, there's always areas of improvement. And I can look at the video and be like, oh, I could have slowed down there. Oh, I dropped my glutes there. Oh, I could have, vacuumed my stomach or held that a little tighter. But that's just the name of the game. And you can always look back and find those critiques, and it just helps me to know what I need to do moving forward. But overall, if you were to ask me how I felt, amazing. Lessons that I took away from this show, this competition, this experience that I didn't really expect to get was definitely a moment where I was sitting with my coach, Brina, and her husband, Gilbert, And we were just having a conversation. We were talking about the seminar from the night before that the head judge had put on, and I was sharing how it was really helpful for me, the way that she explained the way that she judges, and just really putting things in perspective for me. And it gave me a lot of peace and clarity about how I needed to show up the next day, and kind of validated my thoughts on, I just want to show up and feel good about myself and how I look and how I present myself. So anyways, we were sitting there talking, and Gilbert, Brina's husband, said, "Hey, can I ask you something?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure." Like, in my head, I'm thinking, "Oh, is he gonna fix my posing? Does he have a comment about how I did in prejudging?" And he just encouraged me to go talk to the head judge, Sandy. And I didn't really think about it, just kind of was like, yeah. I think part of me just wanted to go talk with her because I really did feel so good about what she had shared. And yeah, I just didn't hesitate. It just did. So I ran up to her, and I knew she was probably trying to leave and get lunch, but I just wanted to thank her for the seminar and kind of make that connection moment of, letting her know that I really appreciated what she had to say. And I think one of the biggest things was, you hear the name Sandy all the time, or the head judge here and the head judge there, and you hear people say like, "Oh, I just have to go to all these shows so that the head judge will see me and know me." And in a way, it almost makes them, to me at least, feel less human, because they're now put on a pedestal and I have to be accepted or acknowledged by them. And during that seminar, the way that she was sharing, she was just saying, I just want you to be you, and I want you to show up. And she goes, if you look amazing with blue hair, rock blue hair. And if you look amazing in a certain color and you love that color, wear that color. There's no specific thing that she's looking for. It's just what is best on your body, or what's best on my body specifically. So it just made me feel really comfortable in recognizing that, hey, she's a human and she's looking for a human. So that was basically what I was thanking her for, and sharing that those tips really helped me. And then I also shared a little bit about my journey and why I had taken 3 years off of competing, and I was a little bit nervous to be back on stage, but really grateful. So we just connected in that moment. And then at the end of the night, after finals, I got in line for judges' feedback. And I sat down with her, and she was like, "Okay, name, number, class." And she looked at me in the eyes, and she's like, "Oh, you're the one that I talked to earlier." And so it just felt good to have that connection moment with her. And she talks to so many athletes, so I'm not saying like, "Oh, I'm so special, she remembers me." But just having that moment, I think, was a big takeaway, because I think in the past I would have just kind of felt like, "Oh, who am I to go talk to her? She's busy, she has stuff to do," and just not really have that confidence to share my truth and be my truest self. So that was a really big lesson for me. Stepping off stage was a really, really powerful experience. So not only when I stepped off stage myself and just walked back, I was pretty shaky because I was like nervous, but I also just felt like this overwhelm of emotions. And when I saw my support system, my family, the minute I saw my mom, we both just broke down crying. And it was such a good moment, because my mom, oh, I see, I'm going to get all emotional right now, but my mom is my support always. And on my hardest days, on the darkest of days, driving me to California to get help and get support, she was there. And I remember her eyes when she walked out the door that day and I stayed. And just when we connected in that moment after getting off stage, oh, we broke down. And I'm really grateful for that moment. That was really, really special. And then, here comes the tears. My best friend was there too. She's always supported me. And another one of my really good friends, who, it's actually kind of a funny story, used to be my dance teacher way back in the day, and we've just stayed connected and grown together as friends. She was there, and I felt so supported by everyone. And even for finals, I had some other friends that I had met through bodybuilding there. One of my great, great friends, Mary, she's just one of the biggest supports. I could hear her screaming for me and brought me the sweetest care package. And she brought a new friend that I just met, Lauren. One of my old professors from college was there. She's actually a competitor as well, and she wanted to come support. I felt so supported, so loved. And then all the gym friends. I mean, there's so many people that I have that I know through the gym, and all of them were there. It was really so fun to feel so loved by everyone. It was really exciting. The show was 2 weeks ago, so I know that this video is a little bit delayed, but I did need a little break last week, so I kind of postponed filming. It's been a pretty good experience post-show, I would say. The first week cruised along great. Mindset was great. I think I was still riding the high of the whole experience. And it was a really good week. I felt really strong mentally. I felt good about, my reverse diet and training. I did take, so Saturday was the show. I took Sunday and Monday off of training. So I just felt like my body needed a little bit of break. It was tough getting my sleep back in check. I felt really tired all week. Hunger was picking up, but, for the most part, you just kind of go with the flow and make it all happen. I would say this past week was probably the hardest week mentally for me. I just felt, I don't know, kind of conflicted. I think maybe coming down from the high a little bit and coming back to reality after, a big goal and something so exciting. And then just feeling a little bit unsure about how to move forward, how I was supposed to move forward, what I needed or wanted to do. And that feeling always makes me a little bit frustrated or confused just because I like direction. I like to know where I'm going. So I would say mentally it was a little bit harder this past week, but I reached out to those who I knew could support me. My coach Brina, my mindset coach, friends, teammates, you name it, family. I was just reaching out, and the more that I talk, the more that I get answers for myself. I can journal and I can stay in my head, but typically when I do that, I kind of will go around and around in the circle. And so when I can actually speak what I'm feeling and maybe get feedback from people who know me and know my story and my experience, they'll usually say things that I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And then I get a lot more clarity. So pretty much by Thursday, I had felt so much better. I had had all the conversations I needed. I had direction. And I was probably most stuck on if I was supposed to compete again. Was I forcing an issue that maybe God didn't want for me? Or am I really supposed to go forward and do one more show this year? And somebody said something to me that was so powerful. And they said, sometimes resistance or a roadblock isn't necessarily God saying, just turn around and go another way. It may be that He wants you to elevate yourself and push yourself over that hurdle or struggle or whatever it is and get through the resistance, because the path of life is not always going to be easy. And taking the easy road or the easy path is not always the answer. And so I think I really needed to hear that, because my last prep was truly a gift. It was a little bit rainbows and roses. I'm not going to lie. And I know that that's not reality. And I know that's not the way that this sport works. But I think it was just a gift and a blessing after taking so much time off. And yeah, so that's exactly what I needed to hear. And I am in such a good mind space. And the next show is going to be Wings of Strength in Vegas, December 5th.